Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show. Welcome back indeed. Welcome back to you and welcome back to me because, hey, I've been missing for the last 4 or 5 days, right? And I'm just so happy to be back. It was like things got a little bit crazy with our month of fasting was ending, and we have this huge celebration at the end of the month. It's like our Christmas and Thanksgiving rolled into one, and it's just a time that we are spending with family and friends, and there's just a lot of social time, right? And family time and friends time, and just keeps you busy. And then that was one thing going on. And then I fell sick, actually, also a little bit over the weekend. And all of that put together just made it a little bit difficult for me to focus on work-related things. But, I am so happy to report that I'm feeling a whole lot better now. And I'm so happy to be getting back into my routine, particularly with the podcast, because whenever I'm not able to do the podcast, I really miss it. I really do. I've shared with you before that this was a really meaningful process to me, because I'm not just about talking for the sake of talking and spewing out, even just information. Like for me, the goal is really to share with you the best of the wisdom that I have access to on whatever the particular specific topic or issue we may be addressing. And for me to share the best of the wisdom that I have access to, it's like, wow, yeah, I really have to connect with my heart and dig deep into those issues and bring that wisdom to my own awareness. See, so it really has been so helpful for me to just become more aware of these things myself, and when I bring them to my awareness, then I'm able to use them, to apply that wisdom into my own life that much more intensely and effectively. So, I know this is something that's very meaningful to me and very, very helpful to me, and I hope that it is the same for you. Now, we've been talking about really what we've really got us going about a month or so ago was the issue of forgiveness. And then we started talking about some of the other ideas and lessons that are related to the idea of forgiveness and what it really takes for us to be able to forgive. Whether it is about forgiving ourselves or forgiving someone else. And most recently, we were talking about, look, it's like when we find ourselves struggling to forgive, it's generally because we are still holding on to our anger, our hate, and other negative feelings. And we are having a difficult time letting those negative feelings go. So if you think about, okay, how can I let go of these negative feelings and thereby practice forgiveness, we have to remind ourselves that, look, these feelings are just messengers from our inner self. Messengers that are like just trying to let us know that, hey, there's something that we need that we're not getting. And these messengers want us to pay attention to this fact. Now, because feelings are a form of intuitive knowledge, right? It's like you know what you're feeling. But it's one thing to know that I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling hateful, or I'm feeling sad, or whatever it is that you're feeling. And it's quite another to understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, right? And this is where a lot of people sort of get into trouble, or they sort of miss the boat, so to speak. That, they have an awareness of what they're feeling, but they are unable to correctly interpret what the message is that those feelings are trying to communicate. What are the needs that are not being met, that these feelings are trying to bring your attention to? And so we have been delving into a consideration of, well, what are these needs that are underlying our fear, that are underlying our anger, that are underlying our hate? And what are the best ways that we can meet these needs so that we can let go of these negative feelings and get back to a place of peace in our hearts and our minds and achieve greater healing? It's like, okay, well, there's, for example, the need that we have to just acknowledge that hey, what we experienced was a great injustice, and that it was very hurtful, that it was wrong, that's causing us pain and suffering. Just to acknowledge that. Another need that we have is to bring to light to our awareness and the awareness of others around us the injustice, the pain, the suffering that we may be experiencing. Because again, it's like I was saying just a little earlier, it's one thing to acknowledge, oh yes, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling pain. And it's quite another to understand why I'm feeling hurt, why I'm feeling angry, why I feel the pain, right? So the need to bring to light the injustice is more about understanding why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. What's the root cause of these feelings? What's the root cause behind this challenge that we're dealing with? Because until you understand the challenge, the problem, you cannot devise effective solutions, let alone implement effective solutions. But as we have been talking about, okay, wow, we need to bring injustice to light. We also now need to start thinking about Well, how do we bring injustice to light? What is the best way for us to bring injustice to light? See, because there are people who say and who believe that the end justifies the means. That, as long as you achieve the end goal, it doesn't matter how you got there. But if you listen to the wisdom of your heart, as I listen to the wisdom of my heart says that is not true. That is not the case. The means matter as much as the end. In fact, in many ways, the means matter even more than the end. See, because whether we are able to successfully manifest a certain end, a certain result, is not really under our control. Because the results that we experience in our lives are influenced not only by our actions and intentions, but by so many other factors, including other people's actions and other people's interactions and intentions as they impact our lives. Not to mention all the other environmental factors that we, that surround us. You can have, for example, the intention to manifest a certain amount of money in your life, and you create a great action plan of how you're going to make that money. Now, if you were to have your way, if everything goes according to your plan, it may all very well work out. But what happens in reality is that when we begin to implement our plans, a lot of times other people will not cooperate with us. Or we find that, that, like, for example, my gosh, when we're talking about making money and all that, well, what if there's like some great economic downturn? And so it's like maybe, your plan was to go get a certain kind of job or to sell a certain kind of product or service. And because of the economic downturn that happens, there's now no demand for the product or the service that you wanted to offer. Right? So that's other people's actions impacting your results. What if the economic downturn is not even so much an economic downturn in terms of it being a function of other people's behaviors and choices and activities? What if there's some kind of big natural disaster? Like there's a big earthquake or a tsunami or a hurricane or something like that, and the very city that you live in gets devastated. And now everyone's scrambling just to, get back on their feet, just to be able to survive through that disaster. And, you have to put all your plans on hold. So all kinds of things can happen that may prevent us from reaching the specific end or achieving the specific result that we decide to pursue. So it's like if you're trying to control your results, you're going to find yourself oftentimes struggling and oftentimes very disappointed and frustrated. But what is in your hands is is how you act throughout the journey, right? What means do you use to pursue your ends? Have you been authentic to yourself throughout the process? Have you been true to your values and principles throughout the process? Have you acted with kindness and compassion towards yourself and others throughout this process? Have you acted with justice throughout this process? Have you acted in ways that promote and support justice for other people who get impacted by your actions throughout your process? These are the things that you can not only control, but these are the things that even as you are on your journey, moment by moment, they have an impact on your ability to be at peace, your ability to feel content and fulfilled and happy and joyful. These are the things. So the means that we use to achieve our ends are just as important, if not more important, than the ends themselves. So yes, now we have the end, for example, of I need to bring to light the injustice that I have experienced in my life. But how am I going to do that? What are the best ways that I can do that so that I maintain integrity with my values, with my principles, so that, I don't end up becoming abusive and hurtful myself in the process of trying to bring to light how other people have hurt or abused me. So it's like, okay, all right, that's a very, very important question. Now, what I want to do is think about, okay, when we think about how can we bring to light the injustice, what's the best way to do it? There are different perspectives from which we can address this question. And the perspective that I want you to consider right now is the perspective of, well, if I bring injustice to light, the injustice that I have suffered to light, what does it mean for the perpetrator who committed the injustice? How does it impact the perpetrator? What does it mean about how I treat the perpetrator? See, because the thing is that at least if you're like, okay, now we're discussing this issue obviously from my perspective, right? And so I was telling you that, look, one of the most important things that we need in order to maintain our sense of inner peace, and especially our sense of contentment and fulfillment, we need to be in alignment with our values and our principles. We need to remain authentic to ourselves. And also, of course, be living in alignment with our life meaning and purpose, right? Those are some of the other keys to how do you maintain your contentment and fulfillment and peace. But in this context, let's focus on the fact that we must maintain alignment with our values and principles. And one of my very top principles, I mean foundational, not just top, but like foundational principles that I live by is the application of the golden rule. Want for others what you want for yourself. Love for others what you love for yourself. Right? Because for me, the golden rule is a way to be in alignment with the reality, as I see it, the reality that all is one. That we are all interconnected, interdependent parts of a whole. So if we truly are one, then it makes sense for us to do unto each other as we would do unto ourselves, because we are one, right? So it's like if I'm thinking about now, okay, I've experienced some kind of injustice, some hurt, some suffering, and now I need to bring that to light. How would I want that to happen? Like if I was the perpetrator, if I was the wrongdoer, how would I want that wrong, that injustice that I had committed be brought to light? If the bringing of that injustice, that hurt, that suffering was necessary, was needed in order for us to achieve healing, for us to achieve peace, how would I want it to be brought to light? Because we all want healing, we all want peace. So I want you to think about this question, and I'm looking at the time, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and wrap up right here for today, and I'll pick up on this question next episode. It's like, wow. It's like, if you're to bring injustice to light, what does it mean for the perpetrator and how we treat the perpetrator? Now, of course, this is a very, very challenging issue to consider, and to a very challenging idea to apply and practice in our lives. So if it's something that you find yourself struggling with, please reach out for help and support. And you know that I'm one person you can reach out to for the help and support you need. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com, click on the Contact Us page, and you'll see the different options for connecting with me. So until we connect next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.